Good morning, everybody, and thank you for coming to today's Restaurant News Chapter 2 networking meeting. We are a group of restaurant vendors, and we are here to help each other, and we are also here to help the industry in general. And we invite you, if you are a vendor in the industry, to come and see what we're all about and come to a meeting. And if you're a restaurateur and you have a situation or a problem that you would like to have solved, we encourage you to bring it to us. Collectively, we've got hundreds of years of experience in the industry, and if we can't solve it, we know where we can find somebody who can. So get in touch with us at 561-620-8888 or on our website, trnusa.com. And we were just discussing some insurance situations here. Good. Steve, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think I basically finished the discussion. The insurance is really a problem in Florida, and the governor tried to do something about it. He called it into session last year, and he specifically to take care of the issues I spoke about, which were litigation problem and primarily. And apparently what people forget, and this is not only true in Florida, but it's, I suspect, true in almost all the states, that the majority of the legislature is composed of attorneys.
Correct.
And therefore, the attorneys are not going to screw themselves. And so that they do bad things to the rest of us. So they actually made the situation worse and not better.
Well, that's what I was going to bring up. In other words, things like reinsurance, there's a limited amount that the legislature can do. They can throw money at the problem, but we don't have a budget to throw billions and billions of dollars into the reserves. But the issue has really been the litigation. And
that's right.
And that's something that the legislature can put an end to. But as Steve said, when you have a bunch of attorneys that are up in Tallahassee, that's not going to happen, and it hasn't happened. And until they do something about it, and again, that's only one leg of a three-legged stool. That's a big problem with the insurance. So.
And I think we're talking. I don't remember yesterday. Weren't we talking about this subject at lunch? That the houses and essentially old condominiums, essentially on the water. I know because I talked about concrete being porous. Well, any condominium or any really even house on the water, long term is not even long term anymore. If you basically you're going to get to a certain age and it's going to have to be torn down and replaced, because at the moment there's no way to essentially replace essentially rusted pilings and rusted rebar. Rebar is the steel that's in the concrete that is attacked by water, and it's worse on the beach because you're attacked by salt water. And if you don't believe it happens, if you drive down A1A periodically and you see the condos, you'll see periodically the balconies being replaced because the water the rain that comes in from the ocean has a heavy component of salt to it. And over time, because concrete, as I said yesterday, is porous,
right.
It rusts, and they replace that. So if you can, and they replace that kind of quickly. So if that's happening on the surface, can you imagine what's happening essentially with the foundation?
With the structure itself, exactly.
That's right. The foundation is really.
We have a friend who lived on the beach in Pompano, and all the patios had to be replaced.
That's right. And if that's what they see.
And it was a high rise.
Yeah, that's what they see. Yeah. The truth is we have a very high water table, no shocking news here. And rebar, which is made essentially out of iron, steel, is that, and it's not coated in any way. So that it is, again, concrete is porous. If you ever, it is interesting, people don't realize that almost everything they think is not porous is. For example, the tile in your house is porous. Okay, if you have a stone like marble, or marble is probably the worst, even granite, if you leave water on it, will absorb it. And you see this in nature. If you look at, after a rain, the stone has a different color to it. So if it's in nature, why isn't it true in your house? And you have all these products which you think are impervious to water aren't. And water, depending upon what's the substructure, it will do a tremendous amount of damage. Wood, and so on, goes away. So there are potentially a lot of problems.
Well, the solution is that they should start building with hemp, which is resistant to salt water. It's lighter to work with, and resistant to bugs as well. So
hemp, did you say?
Hemp, like
from
marijuana,
right?
Yeah.
The trouble, the trouble with this, I don't know what kind of tensile strength it has, because you think of I'm sure everybody's seen steel that they put in a foundation or something. That's actually fairly lightweight. When you come into structures for high rises, you're talking about massive steel bars. They can be an inch or two or more around. And you're talking about very limited number of products that can sustain that pressure. While something like hemp, and I know nothing about it, may be useful for certain things, and I'm not sure that it may be fine in terms of what you're saying, but if even for framing, I'm not sure you could use it, because I don't know that it's I think it's a very thin plant, is it not?
Well, what they're doing is they're processing it, and you could literally create a house using hemp out of a 3D printer.
Yeah, 3D printer is a little different, but then the problem becomes, and they do a lot of stuff, and eventually that'll be okay. My concern is if it's coming out of a 3D printer, it means there's some sort of polymer involved. And I'm just not sure what spans you can get and what kind of sustained pressure it'll take.
Well, I don't think you're going to be going up 60 stories, but if you did build a 2-story house, it seems to be working.
Okay, so just to put a point on it, I'll give you an example why you have to think long and hard. Everybody knows about hurricane windows, right? And the hurricane windows, do you know what they're rated for in terms of wind and so on? Does anyone know?
150?
I'm sorry, no, they're actually rated to 120. You know how they came up with that number?
No.
Because you're right, storms can have 150 mile an hour wind, 170, they can be substantially stronger. So they started, they were producing a code, and they had to come up with some testing for windows to sustain. They wanted to go originally 150. And the way they test the windows, they take a window and put it into a block wall frame. And they shoot an air cannon with a 2x4. I don't know the size of the 2x4 at a certain distance, and it's at the speed of 150. And they had windows, they were able to develop windows that sustain that. But one day they misaligned the cannon, and it shot into the block wall, and it broke through the block wall. And essentially they had to reduce the standard because you can't make the window stronger than the surrounding structure.
No.
That's two different things. I mean, the wind 120, I don't think it's going to blow out very many windows.
Oh, it will.
But if something hits it, something hits the window,
that's a different story, but it will blow out windows. The window gets strong enough. I mean, I was in Miami after Hurricane Andrew, did a lot of reconstruction down there, and wind depends on the size of the window and everything else, but it will destroy windows. They're not, a piece of glass is not designed to sustain any real pressure. I mean, if you can put enough pressure with your own hand on a piece of glass to break it.
Yeah.
It depends how thick it is, of course, but window glass isn't all that thick. or historically wasn't.
No.
And depending upon the type of glass, for instance, in your sliding glass doors, historically it was tempered, which is very strong. I mean, that's what's in your on your car windows, not the front window, by the way. The front window is built exactly like a hurricane window. The reason is with a essentially a layered window where you have two pieces of glass filled in, typically it's, I believe, mylar is the substance in between. That won't stop the window from cracking, but the mylar will stop penetration. Where tempered glass is I don't know, it's designed this way. They like to say maybe it is, but it has the attribute that if it breaks, it shatters into little pieces. So on the side windows, the rear window, that's fine, but you don't want an object flying towards you, hitting the window, shattering, and then coming in. And if you don't believe that's a problem, we had bought a brand new car up in New York and brought it down here about 2 years ago now. And we got it all the way here. We're up in West Palm Beach, and the car in front of me essentially drove over the area where you stop in case there's a problem. And there was in that area, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, there just is accumulates over time. No one cleans it. And they kicked up a stone, substantial stone, into the window. And if it wasn't safety glass, I'd be dead.
Yeah. Well,
Oh my
you know,
gosh.
what we're talking about insurance is a segue for you. What we're talking about here, you know, is basically is insurance and how the cost of insurance is going through the roof. That's only one component of what we're experiencing with general inflation in the economy. And what's happening in the restaurant industry, because of inflation, people's discretionary income and discretionary buying power is being reduced. So restaurants are taking it on the chin again, or potentially will be taking it on the chin again as inflation continues to rise. And there has to be a way for a restaurateur to survive this inflationary process.
Yeah,
So I was reading this article, and they have a 6 suggestions on what a restaurateur can do to live through this inflationary period. And I'll just give it to you quickly, like David Letterman top 10. The first one is offer, and we can discuss it, you know, as I say it or after. Offer more discounts and promotions. Number 2, reduce operating hours, which I've seen happening a lot.
Howard?
Yes.
Prime example last night. I hate to jump in.
Yeah.
Johnny's Pizza. I don't know if you know Chris or not, but they've been around for years. A guy named Scott Allen is part owner in it. They have to close Monday and Tuesday because of employees. Between December, I figure December, a busy month. Kids are basically someone out of college, can't get people to work. They're going to have to close.
Well, that's another problem. I mean, there's a restaurant locally here. It's a chain, and it's probably, I'm sure it's all over the country, called it's not IHOP. It's it's a pancake place, Original Pancake House.
Okay.
Oh, sure.
And-
We have one around the corner.
In Boca, so the one in Boca on
Glades.
Glades.
Glades Road, they close
Mhm.
every Tuesday because they can't get enough people to work.
Yeah.
And this is
Yes, I go into those companies selling robots as a supplement to their employee team, and they poo-poo it. They say, no, we'll never have robots face our customers. It takes away from the ambiance that we're getting at.
Well, I gotta tell you, Original Pancake House has no ambiance. They have great
Yeah.
pancakes.
Well, they
Just
think,
gonna
they
say,
do.
what
But ambiance
ambiance?
isn't one of their.
Yeah.
Well, that they think they do. But it's the reaction I get a lot. I had a guy 2 days ago, he put something out on Facebook, on his Facebook account, and he said, we may start closing some days of the week because we can't find enough employees. He wasn't far from me. I went in, I introduced myself. I gave him the idea of supplementing his staff. Oh, no, 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 no. We would never have technology in front of our customers. We're known for our customer service. I said, are you known also for closing your doors because you can't find enough employees?
Yeah.
And he couldn't reconcile the two. Unfortunately, being in the hospitality business as long as I've been in, I find normally you can figure this out pretty quickly when you meet people, is whether they're good restaurant people or they're good business people. Good business people are the people that tend to be practical and hang on, and their businesses survive and they manage to generate a profit year over year.
Yeah.
Restaurant guys are in love with food and the whole experience of food and dining and taking care of guests, and they're not as inclined to make smart business decisions, even if it is the right decision for them.
Well, yeah, the next item on the list, I'm sure this is right up your alley. It says reduce staff, and I knew you'd have comment on that.
Yeah, it's interesting. We're at a point where we're going to have a paradigm change, and I've been through paradigm changes before with technology, and in most cases, people don't necessarily embrace the paradigm change initially. They push it away. They're not comfortable with it, even though it may make sense for them to embrace it. And I think that's what I'm seeing a lot of. I've been canvassing all year, and I've been finding a lot of resistance to putting this kind of technology into place of business, even though it makes perfect sense to do that.
To go with that, Americans, you would think, well, we're very inventive. We're not early adopters of technology in general.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, the Japanese and Chinese are much more early adopters.
Well, they've got robotic cafes in Japan where everything is robotic there.
Yep, and it's well accepted. Taiwan, I just had a friend that was there. Almost everything's robotic. Most of the developments in technology for robotics have come out of China, and because they've been working on it for the last 10 years, we haven't. So now we have companies in the United States that are trying to say, oh, we sell robots, and they've only been in it for a year or two, and they just don't have. They haven't had the time window to refine what it is that they're selling and developing.
Yeah. Bill, I don't understand why people can't adjust, because like, let's take a prime example, a chain, Chili's. They sort of eliminated the server in a certain ways because you can order and pay on that
At the table.
at the table, right? There's
I
other
love
restaurants that done that.
love
Okay.
I have to wait for a waitress.
Yeah. So, I guess it's the same thing. If you look, I mean.
Yeah, but it goes back to what I said. We aren't early adopters. Us as a group, and human beings in general, and maybe us Americans more, we don't like change. I mean, I talk about this when I sell a business all the time, is that no one likes change. I go through when I talk about transition, I say, the old employer may be a bastard, he may be an awful boss, but they know him. They understand him.
Yeah.
And you're the new guy. And if you tell them you're the boss, they don't know you.
Right.
They're nervous about their jobs.
Right.
And so we don't like, as a group of people, as humans, and I think this is general, but it's certainly true about Americans, do not like change.
And
Brian, that reinforces Bill's point, because Chili's, they're not restaurateurs per se, they're business people.
Yeah.
So that's why they went ahead and by the way, those kiosks at the table, they've been there for 5 years, maybe even longer.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
but Bruce, there's some other locations that not on a chain side, but I've seen where they have these terminals on the TV. I'm not on the table. I'm sorry, table.
Yeah.
On the table. But yeah, it's just I don't know. It's I think,
well, look how long it took them to replace the paper and pencil for taking an order.
Yeah.
I remember the time when in order to sell a computerized POS system, I would actually grab a day's worth of hand checks, and then I would audit them for tax errors, for calculation errors, except to prove to the customer that the electronic was a better approach, because they wouldn't believe me. Because that was why they're doing stuff. But yeah, it's interesting. By the way, on Chili brought out robots for delivery. They tested it, and I think 60 stores. They were also at the same time testing some robotics in the kitchen for preparing the food. And they ultimately decided to stop buying the robotics to deliver food to the tables because they could save more money in the kitchen by not hiring chefs and having these like robots that they had purchased make the food for them.
Bill, you just
We've
brought
got
up,
that trend going on too.
you brought up the point I was gonna make, because to a restaurant, there's the front of the house and there's the back of the house. And I think the adoption is gonna take place in the back of the house, in the assistance with the food prep. And, you know, having somebody deliver your food to the table, that goes to that ambiance comment, you know. So I think that's gonna take a bit longer, if forever, you know, to be adopted, but
It's either that or it's gonna be a force because they can continue to not be able to find employees. So they'll be forced into the technology because they have no other choice.
You know,
One more thing real quick, Howard, to talk about going back to Johnny's Pizza last night. So about that laying stuff off, you know, and they hired somebody. They hired this young woman to run the counter front. So I wanted to go, right? So she rings it up and I go, so these are $12 a piece. I got spaghetti meatballs for me and my wife. She says, well, what salad would you like? It's like, whatever. I get the salad. And I go, how do I go from $24 to $32? You asked me, I can get, like my wife wanted, maybe the chef salad or what, I mean, beyond the regular Caesar or regular salad that comes with the meal, right? She says, I don't know. Let me look. Okay, well, oh, I forgot. That's an upcharge. I'm like, really? Okay, so it's upcharge. Like, no, just give me the 2 regular salads. So, I mean, again, a robot, you know, you program it, and I hate to say it, sometimes a little bit more intelligent than some of these people that you hire off the street. And
because they'll be programmed to do it. Even if you go online for a lot of the to-go ordering programs that became very popular in the last couple of years, they built suggestive selling into it. They're looking to get that extra $1 or extra $2 or extra 50 cents.
Yeah, that won't change.
Going back to the point that Steve made about people not liking change, the 4th item on this list was remove lower margin menu items. And I've seen and heard of restaurateurs who will fight to the death to keep a menu item on their, you know, in the rotation, even if it's not making money, because my people like it. And you know that you really have to do an in-depth analysis of your menu to see which items are making money and which are not. And sometimes when people do that, they're shocked to see the menu items that are not making money, and so-called the chef's favorite.
And that's true,
the
but sometimes
irony
you gotta keep
is
an item
both of
on.
them have the information at their fingertips and whatever point of sale they're using, but they don't look.
right.
Don't look. They become complacent.
Yeah.
You know, I've been called in to do business audits on potential theft situations, and it didn't take me long to find out the culprit or the fact that it did exist simply by looking at the reports.
And the other issue is
stop looking.
they're looking for items at a price point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the 5th item on this list was simplify the menu. I think 4 and 5 go together. You eliminate the items that are not making you money, and you make it simpler for the staff to operate and to produce what you have, because the quality of the labor that we have right now is lower than it used to be.
Yeah.
And so those 2 items right there can save a ton of money.
Well, the other part of simplifying the menu is commonality of ingredients. If you look at Taco Bell, I didn't know this about Taco Bell. Everything comes into Taco Bell in a plastic pre-wrap and it's boiled. That's how they prepare their food in the store. No ovens, no grill, no deep fryers. Into the plastic packet and it's boiled and presented to you. So it's made at a commissary off-site. So they've consolidated their resources in doing that. But they also have less than 10 ingredients store-wide that they need to order. So the independents forget about that fact. You know, diners are the worst culprits because they'll have stuff in there going, okay, so how much food are you walking out to the trash every day that's past their expiry date that you're holding because you may have one customer that comes in once a month that wants to buy it. So you're right. There's a whole body of work there to help restaurateurs slim down their menus and standardize what they're buying for ingredients. So they are not buying a lot of different things that they have to store, which means they need space for it, and or they need to expire if they don't sell that raw ingredient within a period of time.
And
So you're right on in what you're saying.
I'm sure that'll go over well at Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah,
My
it's
gosh,
amazing.
well, speaking
that's
of
the
Cheesecake
biggest
Factory,
menu I've ever seen.
What?
the last item on this list was create a loyalty program. And how many restaurants, I know that I've seen it in a lot of ice cream parlors and that they have a loyalty program, a punch card or whatever, electronically. Now, I remember 2J's used to have one.
Well,
People will go there to fill out, get $5 off at Outback.
Right.
You know,
But how much are you spending to get that $5 off?
Not the point. You're going to spend it anyway.
Well, that's the
Right,
thing.
right. No,
You're just going to go there because they're going to give you something back eventually.
Most
We will-
loyalty programs round out to about 10%, regardless of how they present it or dish it out. Most loyalty programs are looking to discount the menu and they build it into their pricing,
Of course.
10%.
Sure.
So
We went to West Palm Beach last night to watch the lighting of the sand tree, Sandy. And it was great. They had a band. I mean, we really had a good time. And we went to Elizabeth's to have dinner. And they have a loyalty program to get you a free lunch after 10 meals or something like that. But
You went to Elizabeth's? That's
Yeah.
brand new. That they just opened a few months
Yeah.
ago.
see, that's the other
maybe a
thing.
year. Maybe a year.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. What they're doing is very interesting. They're doing probably a very slow lunch business, but they're open and they're paying people. So what they're doing is they're rewarding people that come to dinner to try to get them to come back at lunchtime.
Well, that's
They're
what you get.
very pricey.
You get a free lunch.
Yeah, exactly. They want to
Right.
get you in the habit of knowing that they're open at lunchtime and you can come by there at lunchtime to eat.
Right, right.
We're coming up on 10 o'clock, and I'm going to ask everybody just to give me a quick hello. My name is, and how we can reach you so that everybody can know who we are at this point. Brian, start us off.
All right. Good morning. Brian with Rogue Financial Group, a commercial equipment financing company. Been around for about 15 years, part of Yes Leasing out of Miami, Florida. We work with hospitality, primarily hospitality, but we work with other industries, startups, existing business, commercial equipment financing. I can be reached at 404-723-7222.
Okay, Bruce, good morning again.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Bruce Silver. The name of my company is Employers RX. And we help small businesses operate like big businesses. We introduce them to companies called professional employer organizations. Next year will be the 25th year of introducing businesses to HR outsourcing. And if you have not worked with an HR company and you're a small business, you owe it to yourself to find out what it's all about. And if you're interested, give me a call and we'll be happy to help you.
What's your number?
561-843-4333 for those that are reading and unenabled.
Right. Okay, Bill Bradley.
Bill Bradley, Florida Hospitality Technology. We sell delivery and other robotic solutions to restaurants. hospitals, managed care facilities, anybody that needs a solution in that area. We also have a product for billiards and pool table to manage rentals. There has been a new product in that market in over 20 years. So we have, it's a software product that works on a tablet. And last, we have a product for managed care facilities and hospitals that manage patient care, manage their feeding program, and also it ties in with their help desk for managing service on the facility. And my phone number is 856-770-4407.
Okay, thank you. Steve.
Morning, everyone. My name is Steve Whitehill. I own Anchor Business Brokers, and we help people buy and sell businesses. My phone number is 561-376-7500, and my email address is steve, S-T-E-V-E, @anchorbb.com.
And Chris.
Good morning, Chris Kaufman, president of Chris Kaufman and Company, Restaurant All-Stars. We work on primarily the restaurant owners to bring them the management talent that they need, whether it be an executive chef, whether it be a vice president of marketing, whether that be a general manager. We work on behalf of the ownership to bring them the human capital they need to be more successful. Restaurant All-Stars, telephone number 404, now listen for it, 404 All-Star, ALLSTAR, 404-255-7827. Come back, see us.
Thank you. Terry.
Oh, I can't top that. Terry with today's restaurant news and what quit rolling your eye. And what I do is actually handle the office and the leads report, which is the most important thing. It's a monthly report that will give you what is coming in Florida. We also have a report in Georgia. It is on an Excel spreadsheet, so you can sort it any way you like. You will get 40. Well, now in Florida, it's up to about 70 leads a month. Things are coming in like crazy. Georgia, a little less, 40 to 50 a month, brand new leads. Others from a month before. We've started deleting a lot of those. And if somebody signs up and they want one of the older reports, we're happy to send it to you. 561-620-8888. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you all for coming this morning. For those of you who are watching and you'd like to join the conversation or ask a question or bring a topic to us, please feel free to do so. Give us a call at 561-620-8888 or go on the website trnusa.com. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next week, and stay safe.
Take care.